Are you struggling with cravings in menopause? By the end of this video, you will understand why cravings are so much more prevalent at this time in our lives and what we use to combat them. For the best wellness and weight loss advice for women over 50, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when we post a video.
So after turning 50, we were like, what is going on? We noticed a pattern, not only with ourselves, but with our friends too, where cravings just were like intensifying. And as with everything, Stephanie and I dove into the research. We were looking to identify what was happening in our bodies. So we'd first like to share a little bit of science with you to explain what's going on. And then we're going to share 3 specific solutions we have found to be really helpful. So here's a little midlife 101 fact. When we hit perimenopause, not only does the overall amount of estrogen begin to decline, but instead of estrogen being produced in the ovaries, the majority is now produced in our adrenal glands. So basically the ovaries are like, see you later, you take it on, adrenals. And the problem is that our adrenals are already doing a lot of work. So they produce different hormones, which regulate things like blood pressure, our cardiovascular heart function, immune response, and inflammation.
In addition, the adrenals are intricately involved in regulating our blood sugar and how we convert fats, proteins, and carbohydrates into energy. This has a direct effect on our cravings, and we will be explaining a bit more of that in a minute. So, when companies downsize and they ask the remaining employees to do the extra work from those who were let go, well, that's your adrenals in menopause. And what we need to do to take this into account is to give our adrenals some TLC. And we can do this by lightening their load. So fortunately, there are some lifestyle changes within our control that we can do to support our adrenals in menopause, and in turn, ease these crazy menopause cravings. So what about you? Have you noticed more cravings since you hit menopause?
So let's dive into our first strategy for helping out our adrenals that can dampen cravings. And by the way, these strategies can also help ease other menopause symptoms. So that's like an extra bonus. Okay, so number 1 is balance your blood sugar. Blood sugar regulation is so important to our health, especially as we walk into the second half of life. Now, our adrenal glands signal the release of hormones, including insulin, which you've probably heard of, and that controls our blood sugar. When we ride the blood sugar roller coaster, so having high highs and low lows, our adrenals are constantly on alert and they're trying to get your blood sugar lower or bring it back up. And this is really tiring for them. So in order to balance blood sugar, 2 things need to happen. First, you need to strictly limit refined sugar and processed carbs. All those white flour products like breads and bagels and pasta and crackers. And second, you want to make sure you're getting regular meals that include a good source of fat, protein, and fiber. So these 3 components work together to prevent those big blood sugar swings by slowing down the digestive process and keeping you fuller for longer periods of time. And this is so huge for helping women reduce their cravings, and it helps with limiting those refined sugars that we have such a problem keeping under control, right? So we suggest approximately 20 grams of protein, about 10 grams of fat, a minimum of 10 grams of fat, and 5 to 10 grams of fiber per meal. Now, we share exactly how to do this in our PM Meal Mastery, which we're going to put that link in the comments below.
And so many of the women we work with discount the impact blood sugar has on their health and cravings, especially if it doesn't get flagged in blood work. So unfortunately, even if you're not diabetic, you need to pay close attention to blood sugar, especially now. Some of the signs of blood sugar issues or imbalances, aside from cravings, include mood swings and irritability, shaky or hangry when you miss a meal, difficulty concentrating, low energy. So if you notice these signs or symptoms, it's not just about getting older. You really need to focus on balancing your blood sugar. And a great place to start is by balancing your meals. along with other strategies which we're going to share. So hold on. Now hit the like button if you need to make blood sugar balance a priority in your life.
Okay, who's ready for strategy number 2? That is address your stress. So chances are you've noticed that when you're stressed, you feel an increase in cravings. And that's because carbohydrates increase production of serotonin, which is our body's feel-good chemical. So most often we're reaching for those sugary foods, all those refined carbohydrates, and that only promotes the craving cycle over and over again. So the question really becomes, how can we address the stress without reaching for food? The million-dollar question. So first and foremost, exercise tops our list, because exercise is not only good at keeping you fit, but research suggests that aerobic exercise has the most consistent effect on serotonin release and mood improvements. That's amazing. So you don't have to, and the best part is you don't have to like kill yourself at the gym. Just even brisk walking will do the trick at helping to raise serotonin levels.
And then there's so many other great effective strategies for reducing stress. And these include things like breathing exercises, meditation, even inhaling an essential oil like lavender or peppermint, or fitting in, like I said, a quick meditation. Also, practicing the suggestions that we made in the first strategy for balancing blood sugar is going to be huge, because balancing blood sugar helps you have more stable mood and less cravings and less stress. So tell us, do you have a stress reducing technique that works for you? Let us know in the comments below.
Okay, and finally, let's talk about strategy number 3 for combating cravings in menopause. And that is to prioritize your Z's, your sleep. So we know this is a huge undertaking. I mean, most of us are not always sleeping well. Menopause can be a crazy time for sleep for women. The first step is just to be aware that this can be a huge factor with cravings, and research totally backs this up. So again, during and after menopause, when we don't get enough sleep, we're more sensitive and susceptible to food cravings.
Yeah, and just like after long, stressful days when you don't get enough sleep, your body's going to induce a craving just to get energy, to get that energy burst. So just keep that in mind. If you're not getting enough sleep and it's due to lack of it being a priority, we all have a full plate. We're trying to get as much done as we can. We have bad habits of staying up too late, binge watching, but it's time to make it a priority, and the sooner the better. So even if you want to just start by prioritizing and saying, okay, I'm going to go to sleep 10 to 15 minutes earlier every day, that is a great place to start. And then you can maybe move it back every few weeks. So if stress is the cause for not getting enough sleep, go back to strategy 2 and practice some of those stress lowering techniques. If you tend to have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep, don't worry, it's not a lost cause. Our video on sleep issues will give you great strategies to add to your arsenal.
As mentioned, if you want a clear path for how to regain control of cravings and are not sure how to get started, our PM Meal Mastery is your perfect guide. So we'll drop a link in the description below so you can check that out. Be sure to check out our next video where we talk all about willpower and how you can actually succeed without it.